Good morning, class 9 students. In today's session, we are going to study reported speech, direct and indirect speech. So first, understand the difference between direct and indirect speech, right? So suppose I am the first person who starts the conversation, and I say that my name is Vipin Rawat. So this will be my direct speech, right? And since I have told you this statement, so if you convey my statement to your friend in my own words, then it will be direct speech, right? But if you will change my words and you will convey this to your friend, my statement, but you will change my words, so that will be treated as indirect speech. So you will understand it very well with the diagram. So let's have a look at the diagram. So you can actually see this is Rahul and this is the girl here. She can be any girl. So Rahul is first person and Rahul says, "I will do my work myself." So this is Rahul's direct speech, right? So this is Rahul's direct speech, and this girl is listening Rahul's word. So now she can convey Rahul's word in two ways. She can use Rahul's word, that will be direct speech, or she can share Rahul's message to her friend in her own words. Let's look at here. So this is one way of saying she said, Rahul said, and then commas and inverted commas, I will do my homework myself. So this is actually the direct speech because she has conveyed this message to her ma'am in Rahul's word, and when she does that she uses comma and inverted comma, right? And you can exactly see, just look at here, children. Let me just this is I'll do my homework myself. This is Rahul's exact word. You can see here, I will do my homework myself, right? And so that is why it is an example of direct speech. It is written here, but she can also share Rahul's word in her own by using her own or in indirect way. For example, Rahul said she has not used the comma, inverted comma, because these are not Rahul words. This is her own words. So Rahul said that he would do his homework himself. But you can actually see that there are certain changes. This I becomes he, and this tense becomes past tense, right? And will becomes would, and my becomes his homework. Why? Because now this girl is a first person and her ma'am is the second person, so automatically Rahul becomes for them the third person. That is why I becomes he and my becomes his. Understand, this is the pronoun chart. You will understand it later. And the when you transform a direct speech into indirect speech, there are certain things that you have to keep in mind. First is the change of person and the change of tense. So we studied this in the classroom. For example, let's understand this. Rahul said, I will do my work myself. So reported verb is Rahul said. And what is direct speech? Reported speech is I'll do my homework myself. Now indirect speech is Rahul said that he would. So for us, Rahul is he, right? Rahul said that he would do his homework himself. So now check what changes you make. Check the tense of the reporting verb, make the other changes, backshift the tense, identify the tense, and identify the subject. So these are the things that you need to keep in your mind. For example, Rahul said, I am very busy now. This is direct because this is Rahul's direct word. That is why he used I, because what is I? Rahul. But now we are conveying Rahul's message, so Rahul will become he. So I'm telling about Rahul's I can I'm conveying Rahul's statement in my own word, then I will say Rahul said that, and I'm telling you children. So it means for us Rahul will be the third person, right? So obviously he will become he. I'm telling you this. Rahul said that he was very busy then. So that you can see we have changed the person. I became he, and the tense simple present, and it became simple past here. So this is the rule for the change of tense. If reporting verb is in present or future tense, the tense in reported speech remains unchanged. So this is an exception if you know what is reported verb, it is here. I have just this is the reported. Rahul said this is reported verb. If this reported verb is in present tense or simple future, then you will make no changes in tense. For example, this look at this example. Pankaj says. So here reported verb in simple present tense, right? So there will be no changes in tense. Pankaj says the teacher did not lose temper, and this is his direct statement. Now I am telling you what Pankaj has said. Pankaj says that the teacher did not lose temper. So you can actually see that because the reported verb is in simple present tense, that is why we did not make any changes in tense in indirect speech. Otherwise we make it. So the principal has said Mrs. Shamla is an excellent teacher. So this is Mrs. Principal's this is principal's, uh, exact word, principal's direct speech. So the principal has said that Mrs. Shamla is an excellent teacher, right? So this is where we also see that there won't be any there won't be any change in the tense. Understand? In such these are the exceptions. For example, Mrs. Shamla will say. So again reported verb is will say, so there will be no changes in the tense, right? Class 10 students need extra attentions. Mrs. Shamla will say that class 10 students need extra attention. No change in the tense. And if the reporting verb is in the past, and then tense in the reported speech will change in the corresponding past tense. So this is actually the changes that you need to you need to do when you are transforming a direct speech into indirect speech, right? If the direct speech is in simple present tense, it becomes simple past. If the direct speech is present continuous, it will become past continuous. If it is present perfect, it becomes past perfect. If it is simple past, it will become past perfect. If it is past perfect continuous, if it is past continuous, it will become past perfect continuous. If it is past perfect, then there will be no change. If it is already had, then there will be no change. Will, shall become would, should. May, can become might, could. Would, should, might, could, ought to, used to. No change, because they are already would, should, might, could, right? And must, you can change it to had to, would have to. And must means yes, must. And these are the change helping verb. Is be to be forms is rm. In indirect speech it becomes was, were. Is rm plus verb ing, it becomes was, were plus verb the ing form. Has, have becomes had. Was, were become had been. Was, were, had been plus verb ing form and had. So this is the direct and indirect speeches. For example, we have some examples here. The captain said the aircraft will be taking off in a few minutes. The children, you know that when this is a captain's exact word, that is why they are put in inverted commas. And if I will tell you what the captain has said, then I will make the following changes. The captain said that the aircraft will becomes would, past form of would be taking off in a few minutes. For example, Anil said the fog is playing havoc with the flight schedules. Then again, Anil said that the fog was, because it is simple, it is present continuous, and in indirect speech it will become past continuous. So Anil said that the fog was playing havoc with the flight schedules. And then he said the horse died at night. This is simple past, so it will become past perfect in indirect speech. So the first sentence says he said the horse, comma, inverted comma, the horse died at night. This is the pronoun he's direct speech, and now I am conveying his statement in my own words, so that will be indirect speech, but I have to make necessary changes, right? He said that the horse had died at night. So these are the changes. Exceptions we have just discussed. If there is a universal truth, for example, the earth revolves around the sun, the water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, or if it is a habitual action, for example, they are never going to change, or if it is a scientific, mathematic, or geographical fact, then there will be no changes in the tense. For example, honesty is the best policy, there will not be. Father said that honesty is the best policy, there will be no changes in the tense. Why? Because it is universal truth. If an iron plate is left exposed, it soon gets rusted. This is again a universal truth, so no change in tenses, right? You will just, and the teacher, the earth goes around the sun, the same, universal truth, no changes. If the reported speech describes a state of affairs which remains unaltered when the speech is reported, it tense remains unchanged. For example, the manager said Mr. Pandit does not want to leave his present job till his retirement. So you can actually this also, in simple way, this also highlights a routine or a long term action, right? So that is why there will be no changes, because it describes a state of affairs which will remain unaltered, unchanged, right? For example, they will never understand, they will never improve. So this is also a type where you will not make any changes in the tense. For example, the manager said Mr. Pandey does not want to leave his present job till his retirement, right? So this is unaltered. So the same, the manager said that Mr. Pandey does not want to leave his present job till his retirement. Now, expressions of time and place in indirect speech, we also make changes in changes in tense, we make changes in person, pronoun, and we also make changes in time, place in indirect speech. For example, indirect, if the expression of time or place is this or these in direct speech, it will become that and those. Here, there, now, then, ago becomes before, last becomes the previous, the day before, or the next become the next, the following, the after. Today becomes that night. Yesterday becomes the previous day, the day before. Tomorrow becomes the next day, the following day, or the day after. Last night becomes the previous night. So these are the changes. For example, let's look at it. She said this letter arrived today. So if we will transform this into indirect, she said that, this becomes that, the letter, and yes, it is simple past, so the tense will be past perfect. The letter had arrived that day. And there are other questions. The shopkeeper said to me, we received these goods only 2 days ago, right? It's a simple past, then it will become past perfect. The shopkeeper told me that they had received those goods only 2 days before, and then he said, I like this song, right? I like this song. This is simple present, so it will become simple past. He said that he liked that song. So I'm seeing my brother tomorrow. This is again, she said that she was, because it is present continuous and it will become past continuous, right? She was seeing her brother. Tomorrow becomes the next day. So these are this is an example of reported speech. So that's what we studied in today's class. We will be, for I mean the further part will be conducted in the next session of this video. So thank you everyone. Please do find the homework. You will get some questions related to the topic that we have just covered. So kindly do it. In case you have any confusion, you can ask and you can approach me. Thank you everyone. Have a nice day.